You're about to step into something far beyond your control. Something that doesn't care about titles, influence, or ego. So before anything else, leave your pride outside. And then, there he was. "Damn, he looks incredible," she whispered, her voice breaking. "Sorry. Just give me a second." It's the longest clip she's ever watched of him. And you can feel the ache in her silence. "This is what I signed up for," someone muttered. But she cut in sharply. "No, I didn't sign up for any of this. I just married the man I loved." That's when the real confusion began. The complete lack of emotion. The eerie calm coming from inside Turning Point USA. As if they weren't mourning at all, but managing something. Didn't add up. People close to him acted robotic, detached, almost rehearsed. So now, the only logical explanation people could come up with is that they know exactly where Charlie is. That he's not gone at all. That he's alive and hidden. But instead of answers, they pushed the same hollow message. Move on. Donate to Turning Point USA. This is what Charlie would have wanted. That's when the internet gave her a name that would stick like poison. The Israeli Widowmaker, Erika Kirk. At first, it started as a joke in dark corners of Reddit and X. But soon it wasn't funny anymore. Because the more she smiled for cameras, the colder everything around her became. People started asking, who really is she? Where did she come from? And why did her arrival change everything inside Tpuza overnight? When Erika took the reins, it was like the entire energy of the building shifted. Instantly. Then came the new hires. Strangers with no traceable history. No Instagram, no LinkedIn, not even digital footprints. They appeared out of nowhere, quiet, polished, trained. Staffers started whispering that these weren't just employees. They were operatives. And the deeper people dug, the stranger it all became. And from here, things start to get unsettling fast. People began digging into Erika's background, and what they found didn't just raise eyebrows. It sent chills through the entire building. Her mother, tied to a high-level Israeli defense contractor, the kind that designs missile systems on the same scale as the Iron Dome. Her father, a published strategist, known for authoring classified frameworks on merging corporate infrastructure with government intelligence networks. And Erika herself. She wore those connections like jewelry. In meetings, she'd casually drop lines like, "If I need information on someone, I'll have it before sunrise. Mossad doesn't sleep." She'd laugh afterward, flash that camera-ready smile. But no one was laughing with her. Because deep down, everyone knew she wasn't joking. Was she really working for them? Most inside Tpuza already believed it. She never confirmed it outright, but her hints, her confidence, her unnerving calm, said everything she didn't have to. The office atmosphere changed overnight. Group chats went silent. Slack channels froze. Conversations became whispers, carefully worded, as if every word might be recorded. And maybe they were. Erika carried herself like a woman who already knew every secret in the room. And that quiet power, that invisible dominance, made people believe the unthinkable. That her perfect marriage, her spotless image, was all part of something far bigger, far darker. It wasn't a soap opera. It wasn't jealousy or gossip. It was like watching one of those Netflix documentaries where the perfect couple collapses under the weight of one buried truth. Except this time it was real and playing out in real time. Then came the legal storm. Her defense team filed a motion to ban cameras from the courtroom. Reporters asked her how she felt about that. And Erika's voice, cool and steady, cut through the silence. "There were cameras all over my husband when he was murdered, including Turning Point's own. High-resolution cameras from every angle. Front, side." The room froze. And just like that, the story of grief turned into something else entirely. A war between image, truth, and control. And here's the part that no one can ignore. Because there were cameras everywhere. High definition. Strategic angles. Every frame of that night captured by Tpuza-approved systems. Yet somehow, none of that footage has ever been released. Not 1 second. Footage that could silence the rumors, the conspiracies, the speculation, buried. So yes, the irony isn't lost on anyone. There were cameras all over him. Cameras inside the office. Cameras at the memorial. Even cameras in her own living room. Because Erika had invited them in herself. She documented everything. From interviews to that unsettling casket scene that made half the country uncomfortable to watch. She had no issue turning grief into a broadcast. And now, the same audience that once wept with her has started asking why the transparency suddenly stopped. There have been cameras all over her too, and there should be. Because when you're the face of one of the most powerful political machines in America, a multi-million-dollar movement built on visibility and influence, the public deserves to see. You're promoting the government's version of events, one journalist said. And history has taught us, when the official story doesn't add up, sunlight becomes the best disinfectant. But Erika's tone remained smooth, rehearsed, unbothered. They've been analyzing my every move, she replied softly. My smile, my tears, my words. All under a microscope. And that's fine. I have nothing to hide. Except the internet wasn't buying it. Because if the government tracks citizens every day, if TPUSA uses geolocation data from hundreds of thousands attending memorials to profit from a fallen man's legacy, then why can't the people watch the ones in power too? And just when her eyes began to glisten for the first time on camera, when a single tear rolled down her cheek, it divided the entire internet. Was this grief or performance? A genuine moment? Or a calculated act of empathy? Comment sections turned into war zones. Some said, finally, she's human. Others laughed, saying maybe she just found the right eye drops. Because for months, her face had been dry, emotionless, as if she'd memorized the role of the widow without ever living it. But if you trace every word she said, every action, and every silence, a different picture begins to emerge. A story that doesn't match the glossy version America was sold. To understand what really happened, you have to rewind. Back to when the cameras first loved them. Back to the perfect couple. Charlie and Erika Kirk. Faith-driven, united, unstoppable. The poster image of love, loyalty, and divine purpose. Until her latest statements cracked that illusion wide open. Behind the staged smiles, the matching outfits, and the polished Instagram devotion, the reality may have been far more fractured. And as every investigator knows, when stories start to unravel, always follow the money. Because when the public narrative becomes too perfect, someone is usually scripting it. And after Charlie's death, Turning Point USA didn't crumble. It skyrocketed. Donations tripled. Brand visibility exploded. Media coverage multiplied overnight. And standing at the center of that sudden empire was Erika. Her status elevated. Her name trending. Her influence undeniable. And while nothing about success is inherently wrong, in this case, it just might be the key to everything that doesn't make sense. For anyone who's spent time around politics, the pattern is painfully familiar. When power shifts, the question always follows. Is this destiny or design? Believe whatever you want, but one thing can't be denied. Erika isn't just preserving Charlie's story anymore. She's rewriting it, reframing the narrative, editing the legacy through her own lens. And maybe that's what unsettles people most. The idea that what the public once saw as truth might have been a performance, refined and perfected for sympathy, cameras, and control. If you've got your own theory, drop it below. Because sometimes, it's the smallest questions that blow the biggest secrets wide open. And remember, behind every perfect smile, something is always unsaid. Sometimes, one sentence can carry the weight of an entire confession. That sentence came when Erika stepped on stage beside Vice President J.D. Vance. No one expected what she said next. She looked toward the front row, paused, and whispered into the mic, "No one can ever replace my husband." Then, with a soft smile, "But I do see pieces of him in J.D." The crowd went silent, and within minutes the internet caught fire. Because to some, it didn't sound like grief anymore. It sounded like a message. Quiet, coded, and deeply personal. "I feel honored to introduce him," she continued. "He understands the fight we're in, and he can express what I sometimes can't." The words themselves were gentle, but their undertone, complicated. Too intimate, too knowing. The kind of statement that sounds innocent until you listen twice. Some viewers saw warmth between two allies. Others saw something else, something you don't name out loud. Social media lit up overnight. Tweets turned into theories. One viral post read, "If I were her husband, I'd just wish my lover waited a little longer before saying that." And that was all it took. Thousands of people started revisiting old footage, dissecting every look, every smile, every hand movement between Erika and Charlie. Moments that once looked normal now pulsed with new meaning. Because now, everyone started seeing what they'd missed. The strained smiles. The short answers about marriage. The polite distance between them on red carpets. Not two people in love, but two public figures keeping up appearances. Back then, people brushed it off as stress, politics, or exhaustion. But after Erika's remarks, those old clips became something else. Proof of emotional distance that had existed long before tragedy struck. There was one interview in particular. Erika said quietly, "I had to learn how to comfort myself, even in a house full of noise." At the time it sounded poetic. Now it sounds like a confession of loneliness, not grief. Because if you watch closely, she's almost always alone. At galas, conferences, dinners. Always walking solo. And when she speaks about home, she says "I" more often than "we." Her calm, once mistaken was refusal, a line drawn between what they knew and what they wouldn't say. And when you piece it all together, Erika's confession, her quiet sadness, the pre-existing connection, the deliberate parental silence, a new story emerges. The closeness was real, the silence intentional, and the truth, it wasn't new. It had been hidden in plain sight. This isn't about rewriting Charlie's legacy. It's about understanding that the story the public saw was just a veneer. The love everyone believed in may have existed only for the cameras. And sometimes the ones who know best stay silent, because speaking might reveal too much. Erika doesn't have to name names. She doesn't have to explain. Her words alone tell the story. A story that the world watched. But no longer the story she's living. So here's the question that lingers. Has Erika told her truth? Or is she guiding the public toward a story yet to unfold? And what about Charlie's parents? Are they protecting his memory? Or guarding the truth from everyone else? The chapter isn't closed. Not yet.